Hello folks, Brian Manzella with the HackMotion wrist sensor. I'm going to show you a couple of ideas to get your left wrist, if it's a little extended or cupped at the top and that club face is open. I'm going to show you how to get it flat like Jack Nicklaus and Tiger Woods, eliminating one of the main causes of an open club face and potentially your slice or the compensations that you've had to add to your swing to get rid of the slice. Let's go. Okay, first let's get our terminology right. So as you look at the sensor here, as I wave to you, there goes the live view. I calibrated my wrist to be flat right here. So you can see the green at the top, flexion extension, 0 right there, that's 0. And then I can bend it back about 45 degrees. So what people do is on the backswing, they extend the wrist. See, I've got it 48 degrees extended right there. And what that does is that opens your club face. So let me hit a shot right now and show you a typical slicer's open club face and extended left wrist at the top. The typical slicer swing, complete with palmy, weak left hand grip and the rolled inside and open takeaway, causing a host of trouble. Okay, let's look at the swing here. You can see my TrackMan numbers at the top. I swung 9 degrees outside in with a 5-degree open face. So my face to path was 14.5 open and just a weak nothing ball slice, only 89 yards in the air with a 7-iron. Look how open this club face is right here. I drew a line for you right on the face. You can see, super open at that point. The club face looking right at the camera right here from the face-on view right here, just looking straight at the camera. And as we go to the top of the swing, that toe is hanging absolutely pretty much straight down. And you can see my wrist and the extension right here. We'll look at this in HackMotion in a second. This, of course, all causes me to come over the top of it and start the ball left enough to play it. Look at this club face as you see it right here against the black background. Just phenomenally still open in any way you want to determine what open is. And the club coming well outside in, actually a swing direction of 9.8 left, leaving the face open and a little compensated flip at the end. You can see the face didn't close much at the end either. And here, as I play the TrackMan swing back in slow motion, you can see the 9-degree left path, 5-degree right face, 14.5 open face to the path. Really not something you want to do. So I'm going to show you a couple of ways to get out of that really simply with the help of the HackMotion wrist sensor. If you look at the tile view here, and I'm also live, that's why those numbers are moving, 25 degrees extended, but I'm even more than that at the top of my swing. The interesting thing was I got to an even higher number before I got to the top. I was actually flattening it out a little bit at the top. So as you look at that graph, that green line that's going down, that's me actually starting to flatten my wrist a little bit as I roll the club open, taking some of that initial movement out. So I go from, see, 25 right here to dress. And then I actually, as I'm rolling it open, I actually flatten my wrist out a little bit, a few degrees. And now it's, like 10, 11, 12. It might have been a little more than that, maybe 17. And then that's where that first green line goes down. And then when it goes back up, as I go to the top, it starts bending even more. And at the top, it is 33 degrees cupped or extended at the top. And what that does, if you just took that position down to impact right here, that's going to be a ton open at impact. So, and not only that, you're not going to have your hands forward, and that's why my dynamic loft on that shot was 25 degrees, which is a few more degrees with a 7-iron, even with my upper body forward like that. So, what if we had a simple way for you to get your left wrist flat at the top? I'm going to give you 3 and show you a feature inside the HackMotion software that really makes it easy to learn. Here's the first one. The first one is simple. A lot of this motion of the wrist. So here I am with my normal 25. If I just kept the club parallel to the ground and I just bent my right wrist straight back, kept the club parallel to the ground and the face of the club vertical, so perpendicular. So here's the face, there's the shaft. I just bend my right wrist back. I'm moving over so you can see it. Now my wrist has gone from, well, 25 degrees would be my normal here. I bend my right wrist back, I go to -18, which is, like John Rahm or Dustin Johnson at the top. So what I like to do with students is just have them put the club up here in front of them and learn to just keep the face straight up and down while they're just waggling the shaft on plane. That's the first way, because that just shows you it's really not that complicated to bend that right wrist straight back, and now here you are at the top with the wrist 0 or -1, just like it's nothing. Second thing is that along this axis of the shaft, if you twisted this axis of the shaft, that will give you a wrist change in this respect of the flexion extension. So here I am again, put myself at 25 degrees where I started, 26. And if I just twist the shaft using a couple of fingers of my right hand here, basically the forefinger, the middle finger, and the thumb, more or less in the same position that you would use them in the swing, except just those 3 fingers on the club. Just a little twist goes a long way. So here I am at address, and if I just put my hands on the club that way, those 3 fingers, and just start twisting, you see how I've gone from positive 25 right there. As I twist this thing, now I'm already into the negative, and I can get to the top with a slight negative or, right around 0. Twist the shaft away from you. The twist away concept that I came up with, that you can just Google, and there's plenty of stuff out there on that. And then the third way I like to show people is I just pose them at the top in this position where their wrist is, real neutral. So we're going to get it to 0 right here. And then I just take them from this position and just put them down here in front so they can see that all they've really done from address is just pick the club up and bent their right wrist back and cock their left wrist. And then that's the top of the backswing position. It's really not any more complicated than that. Now let me show you one of the coolest features of the HackMotion wrist sensors software, the biofeedback mode. What I'm going to do is one of the options in biofeedback. I'm going to set a range so that I can take my wrist from this extended address position toward the position I want at the top, within a range, a certain amount of actually flexing the wrist. And you're going to get a tone to know you're doing it right so that you can get to that position, or even maybe keep that position through a little stage of the swing like I'm going to do here. Let me show you. Okay, I have the HackMotion wrist sensors software biofeedback tone set for a range between 0 degrees, where my wrist gets flat out of this extended position, up to 10 degrees flexed. So let me show you. So as I hold my hand out, you can see my wrist is bent back. It's bent back 45 degrees. And as I slowly go towards 0, you don't hear anything. When I get to 0, though, I'm up to 10 degrees. I want the range to be up to 10 degrees. So now it's off. So what that allows me to do is to take a student, or myself if I'm working on something. I'll get back in my normal address position, which is about 25 degrees. I got my hands there, 25 degrees of extension. And now we're going to employ some of that bend the right wrist back, twist away. And now you hear the tone. So let's just say I want my student to get there by halfway back, keep it at the top without going past. That would be too much. So there it is. And then keep it till about halfway down inside that range. The tone tells me and tells them whether they have maybe gotten to the top of the backswing, which is easier to teach somebody to do the way you want, and then started to twist out of it. Now the tone goes away. They know they got to go back into that range for some pre-selected period of time. Now let me hit a shot using those ideas, the twist away, the feeling of the flat wrist at the top, the bend the right wrist back, and the biofeedback I got from using the biofeedback mode to hit a completely different shot than I did before. You can see my wrist nice and flat at the top, and the club face much more skyward. As we're watching on TrackMan now, 3.5 degrees inside out with a 0.3 basically square face, producing a spin axis of negative 5.9. So that's a nice little draw shot, which isn't what everybody wants. A lot longer carry in total, obviously, than my previous slicer swing. And the HackMotion numbers are obviously very different. A -3 here, a -3 at the top, 26 at address, and a -1 at impact. So not only did applying this twist away and this bend back of the right wrist help me get my wrist in the right position here at the top. There's my -3 again, live view. But it allowed me to sustain that to impact and actually have my wrist in this flex position 1 degree at impact, which helped me a whole bunch with my dynamic loft, which was 20.3, 5 degrees less than the swing before it, and a ton more carry. And as you look at the graph, you can see that green line just steadily go down. That's me taking all this flexion out, getting to that -3 and adding a little bit of that and having some to take out at impact for speed, but still with a little flex wrist. Folks, the HackMotion wrist sensor can help you learn to do this better than any device I've ever seen in 35 years of teaching. Get one today.